You know, at FSH, you know, I'm really pleased to, you know, inform you that we have a variety of psychological support services. You know, first thing is that every fourth Thursday of the month at 6 o'clock on our in our Fanning office on the third floor, we have a free infertility support group. It is absolutely free. I mean, it is you, your friends, you know, family members. You don't even have to be member, you know, part of the clinic. You're welcome to join. Then we have actually stress management consultations, either when you're starting treatment, you know, ideally it'll be at that point, but really any time during treatment, you know, if you're at a hard point, stress management consultations are available. Then we have couples counseling, individual counseling, and we have a variety of specialty seminars. Third Thursday of the month at 6 o'clock, and I think, you know, we may also start to have some, you know, specialty webinars such as, you know, this one, and let me give you topics, you know, how to nurture relationship, you know, through infertility treatment, you know, how to prepare for IVF, and as a matter of fact, that's the, you know, upcoming seminar, I think, in August. You know, how to handle emotional roller coaster of infertility, topics that you may find relevant, you know, as you're going through, you know, treatment. We have actually received some questions, you know, prior to this webinar, and I do want to actually go over, you know, answer them. First question was actually from someone who said, my husband seems to cope with this in a completely different way. How can we face our stress together? You know, this is a very common complaint. You know, I've mentioned earlier, you know, women do seem to be more affected by infertility than men are. You know, we have studied that looked at, you know, 55% of women say that this is, you know, infertility is the worst thing that ever happened to them in comparison to only 15% of men. And it just seems like that that motherhood, you know, pregnancy, you know, fertility in general is much more important for women, for our identity, than it is for men. So this is, you know, I think it makes sense that women may be more affected. And what often happens, you know, also the way women approach difficult situations, or better to say handle stress, is very different than men do. I mean, women like to talk and cry, and they're more expressive, while men tend to be more, you know, focused and problem-oriented, and they want to solve the problem. So what can happen is that a woman can feel kind of like isolated and alone, and feels that the fact that her husband is not crying, he doesn't really care about having a baby as much as she does. Well, let's see what is it that she can do. Communication. Okay. What you can do is that really, did you have a chance to talk to your husband, and really allow time that two of you can really sit down and you know, see, you know, check with each other. First thing, does he know? Does your husband know what you're going through? Does he know how this whole process has affected you? Does he know what you need from him? And also, do you know how he's dealing and with, you know, this whole process, and what he needs from you? You know, for more information, you know, in practical suggestions of how to improve, you know, communication with your husband, we do have, again, you know, specialty seminar, and you know, please check our website for the specific date on that. Okay. Our next question is, and I actually, what can I do to just stop thinking about this all the time? I need to give my mind a rest. Well, this is also a very common complaint, and what happens is that, you know, infertility, as you're probably, or better to say, infertility treatment, can really take over, and it's, you know, it's hard to actually think about anything else. And you know, what we recommend, you know, do you first think, acknowledge your feelings, you know, and do you have anyone to process, to talk about your sadness, how sad or upset or scared you feel that, you about the upcoming test results. And having really designated time, either with a friend or your partner, or for that matter, really individual therapy can be very helpful, or support group, where you can bring your concerns and really have a time to process and your fears and your concerns, and then free up the rest of that you can really focus on your work or friendships fully. Again, I think what we do have a seminar on how to handle emotional roller coaster of infertility, and for a specific date, check our website. Okay. Well, I've been, I have mentioned a few times that we have a variety of, seminars and groups and events here at FSH. And please either check our website or go to the, visit us on our Facebook. And, if you have any questions after this webinar, if you need to get in touch with me, I will be, happy to talk to you on the phone. And you have here my contact information, for any questions or any concerns that you may have. Well, Chris, how are we doing here? Are we ready to open up, podium for discussion?
Yes, I think we are.
For any questions you may have.
If there's any questions or anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask Dr. Irina, we can open up and unmute, or actually if you have a question, I guess on the bottom you raise your hand, hit the little hand button, and then we can unmute you and if you have any questions to ask Dr. Irina at this point. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any questions. Okay. But at this point, I did want to show you back, this is the FSH website, and remind you, yes, about Facebook. And thank you all for attending, and please stay tuned to both of those locations, our Facebook as well as our website, because we update, and we're going to be having a bunch more seminars involving, actually the doctors are going to be doing some as well, and on the webinar, because I think it's a little easier for people. So once again, thank you all for attending, and everybody have a white and very nice evening. This concludes our webinar this evening.
Bye. Thank you for attending.